Well, that's interesting. The feed went dead. Now, by my reckoning, I'd only been on air for 10, 20, 30, for 40 minutes. And I checked online and it said you could do up to an hour. So this is going to be an interesting thing. Obviously, we'll get these snags ironed out over the weeks. This is part 2 of the broadcast that was done on Sunday the 12th of June, Sunday the 12th of June, that's today's day. This is part 2 of the broadcast about the history of hypnosis and why stage hypnotists are so important to the world of hypnotherapists. So we've covered the names Andrew Newton and Paul McKenna, but I think the name Paul McKenna speaks for itself. He's now working with the likes of Richard Bandler, who himself, if you look into his background, kind of was very fond of doing public demonstrations, and there is some talk and rumours on the internet that he may have done stage hypnosis years ago. I don't know how true that is, but you've only got to see him live to see that he is naturally effectively a stage hypnotist selling snake oil like the rest of us, placebo and belief and expectancy manipulation, as explained at hypnosisweek.com. Go there for your free gifts and information. So then also in the early 90s we had me appear, around 1990, me appear in my former stage name of Alex Leroy. I changed that later to Jonathan Royal, as it is now. If you search the internet, well, you'll find I was one of the most controversial figures to ever live in the history of stage hypnosis. But the truth behind all that controversial stuff is dead easy to find. Just, I won't waste time here explaining it. Go to magicalguru.com, that's magicalguru.com. Click on Royal's resume and then click to take you to the page where the truth about Jonathan Royal is, and you will get video evidence, names, dates, places. Basically, you'll find the truth, and you'll see that actually I manipulated everything for the benefit of my career and also for the advantage of profit, just like all the other names I mentioned previously. Now, what links a lot of these names together is a gentleman by the name of Gordon Mee, also known as Delavar, D-E-L-A-V-A-R, or as some of his family relatives' stage names were, Delarue, D-E-L-A-R-O-U-E. All is explained in his books, The Hypnotist Bible, Volume 1s and Volume 2, which you can find by going to the shop on my website, magicalguru.com. You'll find the link on hypnosisweek.com as well for the shop. And in there you can find his books if you want to study. He's unique in so much as he died in his 80s. And his parents and his great-grandparents were circus performers, stage hypnotists and hypnotherapists and spiritualists. So he came from several generations of this. And the interesting thing is, for a period of time, he was the president of the British Council of Professional Stage Hypnotists. And at the time that he was, members of it included Ken Webster, Peter Powers, the very now English but famous in Australia and New Zealand stage hypnotist, Paul McKenna and Andrew Newton were also members. You can see a picture of them all together by going to hypnosisweek.com and going down the page to where it says massive over 90% off offer for Hypnosis Week readers. Click on the link and you'll see I don't have a laptop here, so I can't do shout outs, but I will have my laptop when I start. I've unfrozen now. I will have a laptop with me when I start doing this on Sunday the 26th of June. So Delavar, you can see a picture of him, as I say, with all those famous names. He blatantly says in his book that he gave his books, the Hypnotist Bible, to all members of the British Council of Professional Stage Hypnotists at the time, and that it was kind of their handbook. And, well, even Andrew Newton in his own autobiography mentions Delavar, albeit he tries to slag him off, but he does mention him in a kind of strangely twisted, fond kind of way as well. The point is, incidentally, Delavar was one of my first stage hypnosis training tutors and also hypnotherapy tutors. There was also another gentleman called Dr. Brian Howard. He went out under the name of Hobrin, H-O-B-R-I-N, mentalist and stage hypnotist extraordinaire, working the clubs in the late 50s, the 60s, the 70s and early 80s. And he's the guy who set up the Association of Professional Hypnotherapists and Parapsychologists, which later became the Association of Professional Hypnotherapists and Psychotherapist, APHP, that I bought the rights to after that. And effectively, after buying the Mindcare Organisation Home Study course, as I can prove from the Mindcare Organisation Limited, which I set up with a colleague of mine, Peter Hill, a gentleman by the name of Terence Watts stole the title APHP and set up his own Association of Professional Hypnosis and Psychotherapy. He stole it. I've got the timeline, I've got the proof. There you go. But that's just a side note I throw in there for you. The point is, Delavar influenced a lot of stage hypnosis names, including Paul McKenna, who obviously has influenced the hypnotherapy arena. Andrew Newton, who also went on to teach Paul McKenna a lot, again, influenced by Delavar. You see how the stage hypnotist, how this history, what I'm getting at is, not only did they do stage hypnosis shows, but they brought hypnosis to a much bigger audience. But also people like, you know, Newton's now travelling the world teaching hypnotherapists. Paul McKenna's teaching hypnotherapists. Delavar taught hypnotherapists when he was alive. Robert Halpin did courses for hypnotherapists. Martin St. James did. Ralph Slater did. Peter Casson did at times. Ormond McGill most certainly did. James Braid did. The point is, throughout history, when you do enough research, you see that the forerunners, the people who really made hypnotherapy well known, were stage hypnotists, or they may have been called mesmerists at the time, who just did public demonstrations. But the truth is, without them, hypnotherapy wouldn't exist the way it does today. In more recent years, I'm going to give you some other names I'm just going to throw out. This is not really any chronological order, but other names to consider are Igor Lechelsky, who is a reasonably good hypnotist, but fortunately for him has got a wonderful marketer behind him, an even better hypnotist by the name of Clifford Mee. Incidentally, same surname as Delavar's birth family name, Gordon Mee, Clifford Mee. Any link, any association? I wonder if through family trees there's a link. Who knows, could be coincidental, but there you go. Think of this as well. Gil Boy, who set up Westwood Publishing Company, and loads of his books are on sale through Anglo-American Books in England and also through Amazon. He developed a thing called transforming therapy. Well, Gil Boy was known as the cowboy stage hypnotist, not because he was rubbish as a stage hypnotist, but because he wore a cowboy hat and stuff. And you know what? Gil Boy admitted to me on the telephone when he was living in London, England, he admitted that hypnotherapy is nothing more than a placebo. It just gives people a reason to remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from themselves. So they can say, I only changed now because I got help from the therapist. Don't blame me for not changing before because I needed the help of this therapist. It gives them a focal point, something to believe in. It removes all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from themselves. And it also gives them a catalyst, an important ritual to help them say, yes, this is the time I'll change. He also admitted that stage hypnosis is bunkum and that basically no stage hypnotist or hypnotherapist has ever hypnotised anyone ever. All they've ever done is manipulate people's belief systems, perceptions, and use manipulative psychology of the highest order, as I will explain more on Wednesday evening, 7 p.m, 1900 hours on Steve Miller's A-Listers Hypnotherapist group, and also then every Sunday from 9 p.m, 2100 hours p.m. UK time on my weekly Facebook video broadcast where I will train stuff, teach you actual techniques you can use. Full details of that at hypnosisweek.com, and there's also free gifts for you to grab there. Please do check that out. Dave Almond, well known for his green book, Hypnotherapy. Guess what? Dave Almond was a radio host, a comedian, a songwriter and a stage hypnotist before he realised he could make a lot of money teaching doctors and nurses the power of effectively the placebo effect, distracting the mind and helping people have a ritualistic, important seeming process to distract their mind and help them remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from themselves. Oh yes, that's true. Tom Silver, who you may have heard of, he did a lot of courses with Ormond McGill when Ormond was alive, and indeed Ormond taught him. Well, Tom Silver, also known as America's favourite television hypnotist, when he was in England doing an event in London that I helped promote for him and was there as a guest of honour for helping sell tickets for, he actually face to face would admit that stage hypnosis is bunkum and that it's all placebo effect and manipulating people's beliefs. When anyone else was around, obviously, the story was very different. It's very scientific, it's very real. But I can't prove that. He said that to me, obviously I can't. So I will say that that's just a story. I've made it up. It never happened. This is for satire and comedy reasons only, obviously. Ha, 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 ha. Let's just say he openly says, he praises the works of Almond McGill, and Almond McGill admitted to me at the Supreme Magic Convention in England in the 80s that it's all bunkum and just basically the books full of techniques are just ritualistic processes that seem important so that you can make money selling the books, and so it gives hypnotherapists a sense of self-confidence that they're doing something more than they really are. We mentioned Milton Erickson before and the fact that he's actually a fairly average hypnotist, and that if you get the book Beyond Erickson, a fresh look at the Emperor of Hypnosis by Alexander, that's T-S-A-N-D-E-R, that in that book, published on the 30th of June 2005, you'll find evidence that, well, when you double check it, you'll see he wasn't a very good hypnotist at all. It really is a case of the Emperor's new clothes, the way people go, how wonderful he was. But he certainly was a wannabe stage hypnotist, because he loved being in the limelight and doing demonstrations for the media, for public and for groups. So, a few more randoms. There was a gentleman called Neil French in England who set up a thing called the Institute of Analytical, although it has got anal in there right at the beginning, strangely enough, Hypnotherapists, better known as the IAH. He then sold that to a gentleman called Rob Kelly in more recent years. But Neil French was basically a failed stage hypnotist. In his prospectus for the IAH was an audio cassette tape, because I took his course years ago when I was about 13, 14. And he actually said, to my eternal shame, before I got into hypnotherapy, I was a stage hypnotist. What he means is he was crap at it and realised it was easier to make money as a hypnotherapist. Which, trust me, it's easier to do hypnotherapy than it is stage hypnosis. So, other names that I'm just randomly plucking out of the air. Wendy Friesen. She's a lovely lady, famous all over the world for her self-help websites and audio hypnotherapy recordings, but she also did and does stage hypnosis shows. Well, she certainly did. Type in Wendy Friesen stage hypnosis shows and you'll find video footage. Harry Arons, spelled A-R-O-N-S, is famous in hypnotherapy for coming up with the Arons susceptibility depth scale of hypnosis, and yet he started off as a hypnotherapist who worked in the northeast of America. Do your research. An example in Russia, a gentleman who's still alive, is Albert, or also known as Alexei, A-L-E-X-E-Y. I'll have to try and read this carefully. Veneditovich Ignatenko, or Albert Ignatenko. He was on the Paranormal World of Paul McKenna if you search YouTube. I worked with him and appeared as a speaker at the same International Hypnosis Conference in London that was organised by Valerie Austin a number of years ago. And basically, he ended up doing a stage hypnosis show for the delegates and saying it was all about energy manipulation and mind power of the mind. It was a stage hypnotist, which he as good as admitted through non-verbal body language and a few carefully chosen words through his interpreter to myself and my friend, colleague and former hypnosis student Robert Temple, who was also present with me in the dinner queue when Albert Ignatenko recognised Robert as an internet marketer, said he'd studied some of Robert's stuff and also recognised me and effectively said he studied some of my hypnosis training materials and gave us the thumbs up before he then later did his stage hypnosis show. Bonkers, look into it. In more recent times in America, an English gentleman by the name of Richard Barker, a good friend and colleague of mine, Richard Barker runs the yearly Hypnotist Entertainment Cruise, of which I'm proud to say I was the first ever headline speaker of the first ever Hypnotist Entertainment Cruise. Thank you again for having invited me to that, Richard. Richard, who was born in Britain, used to be his former police and military, then became studied NLP and hypnotherapy and became a stage hypnotist, moved to America, lives in Florida, and he's now making a massive, well-deserved name for himself in America. If you search Richard Barker, you will on YouTube you'll find video clips of him. He's appearing on television shows in America, and I mean syndicated all over every state in America on a regular basis. And he does stage hypnosis, he always did, but he also helps people with hypnotherapy and spreads the word out there too. Names that might not immediately have jumped to mind are Uri Geller, but you know Uri Geller, the world famous psychic? Guess what, if you check it out, in his early days he started off doing stage hypnosis and past life regression shows in Israel, along with his mind reading and spoon bending. Excuse me, so let me get a little sip of drink. Cheers. In fact, Uri Geller, when I met him, advised me to do some past life regression to get myself publicity, which I did. Thank you for that, Uri. And he also gave me some other great business advice, but he told me that he'd done stage hypnosis in his time. But he's made massive money with self-help tapes, self-help books, because he understands the power of the placebo. He understands the power of giving somebody an important seeming ritual to believe in. He understands the power of giving somebody a focal point that can allow them to remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from themselves. Things I will cover more on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. on Wednesday the 22nd of June on Steve Miller's A-Lister Hypnotherapists group, and then every week thereafter I'll go into more depth on different areas of hypnotherapy, stage hypnosis, psychological mind sciences, talking therapies, complementary and alternative medicine on my weekly Facebook Live video broadcast that will happen here on Facebook, but all the details are on hypnosisweek.com. So please, if you've got a mailing list, a news group or a blog, please let all your colleagues know that every week they can get free training. Now the battery has only got 20% left on this thing, it's just told me. So that tells me I need to be plugged into the mains in future. So let me bring this to an end very soon. Richard Nongard, the creator of Speed Trance, but he runs Subliminal Science and Pear Tree Educational in America. He does stage hypnosis, but he teaches massively genuine hypnotherapy and stuff. Derren Brown is known as a mind reader, but he studied, and there is a video out there if you search it, of him in the audience being trained by Paul McKenna and Richard Bandler in NLP. He's then in his books later said NLP's bunkum, but yet he uses NLP techniques, hypnotherapy techniques in his shows, and he genuinely does. Quite often it's when he says he's not using it that he does, and when he says he is, he isn't. But nonetheless, Derren fully understands the power of placebo and giving people an excuse to change, an important seeming ritual, and something that's a focal point to allow them to remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret, as is shown if you search Derren Brown placebo or Derren Brown hypnosis on YouTube. In the noughties, some names that come to mind. Now, Keith Barry's getting well known for the hypnosis game show You're Back in the Room that's going around the world. So he's helping people know more about hypnosis. Now, a lot of hypnotherapists would say that bad for them. And in fact, a lot of stage hypnotists say You're Back in the Room doesn't portray hypnosis very well. But there is an element of the public that, because of that, now are booking stage hypnotists. And because of that, are going, you know what? If it can make people look daft, perhaps it can help me stop smoking, lose weight, or change my life for the better. A famous American by the name of the Amazing Kreskin, real name George Joseph Kresk, K-R-E-S-G-E. If you search the Amazing Kreskin on the internet, you'll find out more. Or if you search on YouTube for Kreskin, spelled K-R-E-S-K-I-N, explores the power of suggestion. Watch that and he will tell you hypnosis does not exist. There is no such thing as a special trance state. And then he goes on to demonstrate things that you'll watch, and as a hypnotherapist you'll go, that's people hypnotised. It's not. It's the power of suggestion. Hypnosis only exists in the mind of the believer, and he demonstrates it. In England, but also worldwide, famous as well as myself, there's Jonathan Royal, that's me, but there's also another Jonathan Chase. And he started off as a stage... Oh yeah, we've reconnected again. But Jonathan Chase started off as a stage hypnotist, but now he teaches hypnotherapists. If you look on Hypnothoughts Live website, the website for Hypnothoughts Live conference in America for 2016. Go through the list, take the names of each person, put it into Google with the word stage hypnotist or comedy stage hypnosis show. More of them either were stage hypnotists in the past or still are than actually admit on their profiles on there. Some of them admit it, admittedly, and most of them in fact, but the vast majority, I'd say, at least 2/3 of them either were stage hypnotists, started out that way, or have done both and still do. There's a correlation and a thing here. You know, a name that's getting known in hypnosis training these days is Mike Mandel. Effectively, basically, if you check in the 1970s, he was a stage hypnotist. He was born in Britain. He moved overseas. He was a stage hypnotist. He now realises he can cash in on teaching people the wonderful illusion of truth that hypnotherapy, hypnosis is. If you look further, you'll find that if you search the name Romark, better known as Ron Markham, an English performer, he left a widow by the name of Ursula Markham, Markham. If you search on Amazon, you'll see he wrote tons of self-help books. But indeed, Ron Markham also wrote 2 books, Curse of the Children and The Sons of the Fathers, self-help psychology books. And you know, deep down, I've met people who met Romark, who worked with him. My dad bumped into him, I believe, in a music hall. Well, I say music hall, it was in the 70s, but conventional theatre days. And, you know, off stage, to the select few, he would admit, stage hypnosis is bunkum. Hypnosis doesn't exist. And that therapy really was just placebo, an important seeming ritual, and giving people an excuse, focal point for change that they could believe in, perceived authority figure to give them permission to change, and also a reason where they could remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from themselves. But I'll go into that more on Wednesday, this Wednesday the 22nd, I think it's 22nd, Wednesday the 22nd of June at 7 p.m, 1900 hours on Steve Miller's A-Listers Hypnotherapist group here on Facebook. And then every Sunday, starting Sunday the 26th of June at 9 p.m, 2100 hours British time, I'll go into more depth on one different subject matter each week, teaching you actual techniques you can use, ways to get more clients, ways to be more successful with them. It's all explained in the short video and the text that you can find at hypnosisweek.com. Go to hypnosisweek.com, that's HYPNOSIS, hypnosisweek.com. Join the newsletter, grab your free gifts, and then come back on Sunday the 26th of June at 9 p.m, 2100 hours British time for our first week, where we will go into more depth about why hypnosis doesn't exist, what it really is, how it really works when it really works. But I'll be doing a prelude to that in quite some depth on Steve Miller's A-Listers Hypnotherapy group at 7 p.m, 1900 hours on Wednesday the 22nd of June. Other people you might want to look into from a religious point of view are Benny Hinn. Search YouTube for Slay in the Spirit, that's S-L-A-Y, one word, then in, then the, and then spirit. Watch the videos. Also search Benny Hinn Exposed. Type into Google L. Ron Hubbard. That's Hubbard. He was the founder of Scientology, the religion, the Church of Scientology. He was a science fiction writer, but in the 1940s, if you do your research, he was known as a hypnotist and swami. He understood that manipulating people's emotions, beliefs, expectations, and their environment was the way to control them. And he did that through the most powerful of perceived belief systems, religion, and a perceived higher power. Sometimes all that higher power needs to be is the authority figure of the hypnotherapist. All of these stage hypnotists names that I've mentioned had one thing in common. That most of them famous around the world for books and training courses and their legacy to hypnotherapy, and yet they were all stage hypnotists at some point in one way or another. And that pretty much all of them, certainly the ones I met on one-to-one or spoke with on the phone, admitted stage hypnosis is bunkum, it's just social compliance, just like Graham Wagstaff says in his report, Hypnosis, Compliance and Belief. and that hypnotherapy is essentially the placebo effect combined with giving people an excuse for change, permission to change from an authority figure, and the perfect situation where they can remove all self-blame, shame, guilt and regret from themselves. What I'm saying in a nutshell is this: stage hypnotists made hypnosis famous. If it wasn't for stage hypnotist Lafontaine, Charles Lafontaine, who came over from France to Manchester, England, then James Braid would have not seen that demonstration. And if he'd not seen that demonstration, he would never have coined the word hypnosis, from the Greek word hypnos, meaning sleep. And if he'd never seen that demonstration, we would never be at the level we are now with our understanding of the power of the imagination, the power of the mind, the power of beliefs, the power of placebo, the power of the imagination, the power of suggestion, which are all things that I'll cover in my weekly training classes, where we will teach actual ritualistic processes and techniques. We'll show you how to be a better hypnotherapist, better stage hypnotist, how to get more clients, how to make more money, and we'll cover all manner of things. And all those weeks I will have my laptop there, so I will be able to see questions that are typed and respond to you live on air. I didn't do that today, and I'll make sure that whatever I'm broadcasting with is connected to the main, so the battery can't run out like this is about to do so any time. Hence I'm going to pull this to an end very shortly. So if you haven't already done it, go to hypnosisweek.com, sign up to the newsletter, grab your free gifts. If you haven't already done it, look on my profile or in this group where this video is for part 1 of this video, because this is part 2, because it broke off. There was a technical glitch part way through. And watch part 1, and then you'll get a full understanding of how important stage hypnotists and stage hypnosis performers truly have been to the world of hypnotherapy, and still are to this day. I do stage hypnosis shows, still sometimes for the clients who can afford me, and you know what? I've arguably taught more people who are now successful hypnotherapists around the world than any other living trainer of hypnosis today. Evidence of that can be seen on my website, magicalguru.com, on the training page, or go to hypnosisweek.com and scroll down to where it says 90% off discount offer. Click on that link and look at the evidence. Look at the testimonials from people I've taught around the world. Do your own research. Stage hypnosis, stage hypnotists have been important and continue to be. They spread the word far better than most hypnotherapists. Most stage hypnotists, not all, but certainly the ones I've taught, definitely the ones I've taught, the majority of them, there's always exceptions to the rule, but also the majority of them around the world, even taught by other people, tend to be far better hypnotists than hypnotherapists who've not done stage hypnosis and not studied stage, because they understand deep down. Whether they'll admit it or not is another thing. You see, because there's several types of hypnosis trainers. There's those who know that hypnosis is bunkum and does not truly exist, and is all manipulation and just use of suggestion and placebo, and admit it. And they're very few. I'm the main one of them in the world. There's a few others, but I'm the one who says all stage hypnosis, all hypnotherapy, bunkum, does not exist. Then there's the ones who know that to be true, but they daren't admit it, because if they did, they think they would not get clients, and they would not get people going on their overpriced hypnotherapy and stage hypnosis training courses. And then there's the ones who actually truly believe that hypnosis is some special state of mind, altered state of consciousness, or is something more than just manipulation of beliefs and expectations and perceptions and placebo. They're the deluded ones, and they got that way because they don't want to admit to themselves that I'm telling you the truth now, because if they admitted that to themselves, they'd have to admit that what they learned and spent thousands of pounds to learn, that was all bunkum and based on lies, meant that they basically effectively got ripped off, or that the person who taught them was deluded themselves or a con man. They were one of the two. They either genuinely believed what they were teaching and so were deluded and didn't know the real truth, or they knew the truth, that it was all bunkum, but obviously in the pursuits of making money As I say, Almond McGill ultimately did, because he admitted at the Supreme Magic Convention hypnosis was bunkum, and yet he still continued to produce books that gave a different narrative, as do many famous names. Well, I'm here to say to you, I'm going to teach you the truth every week on hypnosisweek.com. Go to that website, grab your free gifts, join us every week where you will be able to type questions, and I will see them then, because I will have a laptop here then so I can see what you're typing and answer to you live on air. If you have not seen part 1 of this week's broadcast, the introduction, then look on this group or on this page. It will be below this video, will be part 1. Watch that as well, then you'll fully understand why I say stage hypnotists are the most important thing to hypnotherapists. They always have been. You wouldn't have a career or industry without us. Hey presto, magical tricks, you decide. I'll see you on 7 p.m. UK time. That's 1900 hours in Steve Miller's A-Listers Hypnotherapy group on Facebook on the 22nd of June, and then starting Sunday the 26th of June from 9 p.m. 2100 hours British time. Every week I'll be broadcasting live on Facebook. Full details at hypnosisweek.com. Comment below this video with suggestions of topic matters for each week. 1 week will cover, for example, hypnotherapy for helping kids. 1 week will be phobias. 1 week will be post-traumatic stress disorder. 1 week will be stage hypnosis. 1 week will be rapid inductions. 1 week will be how to get more clients. It'll be something every week, so you get 45 minutes to 90 minutes of pure, usable content, free of charge, that will help you be a better hypnotist, more successful, and make more money. My name's Alex William Smith by birth. I'm better known as Jonathan Royal. Go to hypnosisweek.com. I'll see you again. Thanks for watching. Share these videos with everyone you know, and please let them know about hypnosisweek.com. Share the love so they can sign up and join the free broadcast, and so they can grab the free gifts. And remember, grab the free report that's there that tells you why hypnosis does not exist. Goodbye.